Welcome to the N1 Jets Flight Plan with your hosts, Michael and Brennan McLaughlin.
Welcome to the New York Jets Flight Plan. I'm Michael McLaughlin, here with Brennan McLaughlin in Warren, New Jersey. We're going to be talking about all things Jets, the scary things, the exciting things that happened in last night's preseason games. There was a mixture of both, whether it be Antonio Allen trying to make the transition from safety to cornerback, the debut of Calvin Pryor and all the hitting he did, and how did the Jets stack up with the rest of their division rivals? All right, Brendan, let's get started. What were your takeaways?
My takeaways are the secondary struggled against the Bengals' first-team offense. Particularly Kyle Wilson struggled, gave up that deep ball to Mohamed Sanu for the touchdown. So, biggest takeaway is the secondary struggled, the first-team secondary.
Kyle Wilson and Ellis Lancaster had to come in and play a lot, and we had to have the transition of Antonio Allen from cornerback to from safety to cornerback. It seemed like the Jets, Rex Ryan, really left the corners basically on an island last night to see how well can they play. There wasn't a lot of help over top from the safeties. On the one play where Antonio Allen got burned for about 40-something yards by A.J. Green, who happens to be one of the best wide receivers in the league. One, A.J. Green, you can see he pushed off a little bit at the end there, so that didn't help out. Two, there was no safety help over top, so it's basically like, let's see how well Antonio Allen can play. Now, that was the only reception he gave up. I'm sure the Bengals probably would have targeted him a little more in a regular season game. They're probably trying to get their other wide receivers help. So while it's certainly alarming what happened last night, you do have to remember that D. Milner, who was the first round pick from last year, one of the Jets' 2 first-round picks from last year, he wasn't in the game. The Jets certainly need him back for the first regular season game, or they are in a lot of trouble. And they need Dimitri Patterson back, they pulled in from the offseason from the Dolphins, or they will be in even more trouble, despite how bad he played last week. But there were a lot of injuries, so it is concerning, but I'm not ready to hit the complete panic button just yet. Because also, when you talk about Calvin Pryor, he came in last night, I think he had seven tackles, tackle for loss, he broke up 2 passes, and he set 2 people out of the game. He hit 2 people hard enough that they were injured, and they left the game between Kobe Hamilton and Rex Burkhead. And the first one was he dislodged the reception. I think Tony Allen was on coverage, was a little behind. He knocked that ball out, dislodged that. He actually thought that was a fumble. Another time was he came in the backfield and he rocked Rex Burkhead. He was a decent-sized running back, and he had a thigh contusion. He had to leave the game. So I think when the regular season rolls around and you have him roaming the secondary, that's going to give them a lot of help, because sometimes if D. Milner does get burned, Calvin Pryor hopefully will be there to hit someone hard and dislodge the ball.
It was drafted for.
My other big worry from last night was, the defense. They did overall play bad. The defensive line, despite how good it is and how prolific it should be this year, they didn't play well. They didn't really. The Bengals had a decent time running the ball, and Andy Dalton, let's face it, we made him look like Joe Montana out there. He went 8 for 8, I think 143 yards in that touchdown, because they had all day. He had all day. He could just sit back there all day. Quinn Culpers gave a little bit of a pass rush, but the pass rush didn't really show up until the Jets were playing their Bengals' second-team offense, and Demario Davis came off the edge and forced that sack and fumble, which, by the way, Calvin Pryor happened to recover. So you have to be very excited about that. And I'm high on Geno Smith from last night's game. How do you think he played? I think while he didn't make any big plays, he stepped up in the pocket nicely. You can see he's added about 10 pounds of muscle. He looked a little faster, a little more athletic, very good pocket awareness, and he threw the ball well. He didn't really make any mistakes. There was the one interception to David Nelson, but that seemed like that could have been anything more of just a miscommunication between him and Nelson. Maybe could have come out of his break a little faster.
Right. Yeah, I thought he showed good pocket presence, Geno Smith. He ran the ball pretty well, actually. Whenever there's pressure, he escaped the pocket and had several good carries.